Let me tell you a story that I'm ashamed of sharing, but it plays an important part in what Great.com is and why we exist. So, about 6 years ago, a friend of mine came to my house for dinner, and he had just been in India visiting a charity project that he was involved with. And this charity was working with child sex slavery. And he told me this horrific stories. Like, imagine the worst thinkable thing that you can even come up with. Take it times 10 and have it happen to innocent 5-year-old children. So these were the kind of stories that he had seen and heard there and that he was telling me. And I remember as he was speaking, my eyes was tearing up and I didn't want to hear it. And at the same time, I couldn't stop listening. And I remember when he left my house that evening, I was thinking that I have two choices right now. One, I can dedicate my entire life into helping these children. Or two, I can pretend that I haven't heard anything and just shut these images out of my head and move on with my day. Because I knew that I couldn't keep thinking of this and not doing anything about it and still live with myself. And I'm ashamed to say that I went with the second option. I just tried to shut my eyes and ears and pretend that this problem didn't exist. A couple of months later, we took our company to the Nasdaq stock exchange in Sweden. We did an IPO and our company got valued at well over 100 million euros. And I made more than 15 million euros that day. It was my 28th birthday. And I was ecstatic. I was over the moon. I was dancing around, smiling with my entire body. And that joy lasted for maybe a week, maybe two. And after that, I woke up in my bed and I didn't really want to get out of it. I'd had an argument with my girlfriend the night before. Those problems hadn't went away. I was feeling sick and those problems didn't go away. Like, money solved some things, but there were a lot of challenges in my life still, and I wasn't feeling happy. So I started questioning, what is life about? What do I want to do with my life? And a friend of mine introduced me to this project he was involved with in Africa. So they were building a small school and he was helping to support it, and they needed more money to complete the project. So I decided to step up and donate this money. And a few months later, we went down to visit. This was in Busua, a small village in Ghana in West Africa. And I remember seeing this school. There was gray buildings around that was really worn out, and these windows, or they didn't have windows, they had steel bars instead of windows. And in the middle of these gray buildings was this splash of colors. It was yellow, green, and red. And that was the school that we had helped create. And I remember talking to Torsten, the guy who initiated this project, that evening. And he told me, you know, Eric, in this school, the kids don't get beaten up. And he said that like it was a huge deal, and I didn't get it. Like, of course, kids don't get beaten up. But that wasn't obvious. Like in this country, in this village, the kids got beaten up all the time. But in this school, the kids were safe. And that's when it dawned on me on what money can actually do. Before then, I was thinking about money in terms of toys. What can I buy? What car? What boat? Whatever. But money can create safety for children. And so many other magnificent things. And after this trip, I stumbled upon a newspaper article about the organization in India working with child sex slavery. And in this article, they wrote about how they're rescuing these girls and boys. And I decided to donate 100,000 euros to support them. And I got involved with this organization to learn more about what they were doing and how their work is actually done. And they're rescuing these children. They're giving them education. They're giving them a safe home. But what they don't do is that they don't deal with the end problem. Like, imagine in this ring. In here there are children that have been kidnapped or bought, and they're now going through hell on earth, being sold as slaves. Now this organization, they came here and they rescued these children, and that's amazing. These children got a new chance in life, but they didn't really do anything about the ring. Like, the ring here is people willing to kidnap or buy children. The ring here is people willing to pay for them. And the ring here is parents so desperately poor that they have to sell their own children for their other children to survive. So they don't deal with this problem. And I realized that my money, this 100,000 euros, it might have done a lot of good rescuing these first children. But maybe it even did harm later on. Like, this ring was still there. So maybe they went out and they kidnapped and bought other children and put them in the same place. And maybe the first children were allowed outside to play, and that's when they get rescued. And the second children didn't even get to go outside. I don't know if this is what happened, but I don't know that it's not what happened. And that's when I realized how freaking difficult charity is, and how you can do good, and how important it is where you donate money and what you do with it. And I got more and more involved with charity and learning more and more about it. And this might be a weird turn of events in this story, but stay with me, it does make sense. I want you to picture $1 million in a pile, like how big that pile is. And I want you to picture 100 piles like that, like so much money. Now I want you to picture 300,000 piles like that. Now we're a literal sea of money, filling up an entire football pitch with just a thick layer of money. So 300,000 piles with $1 million in each, that's $300 billion. And that number is important because that's how much revenue the gambling industry worldwide generates each year. $300 billion. A soccer pitch, a football pitch filled with money. And this is important because it comes back to what Great.com is and why it exists. Because on my journey learning about charities, I realized that I'm not very good with charity, but I'm very good with gambling and marketing. That's where I've made all of my money before, and I don't need any more money. But if Great.com can exist, and it can take a corner of this big soccer pitch with money, it can generate that revenue within the gambling industry and give it away to do good, then that's so amazing. Taking part of this huge pie and solving problems. Because I believe that we can solve the problem of this ring by solving the problems that cause extreme poverty. Because I don't think that anyone would sell their children unless they were completely desperate. And I don't think that anyone would buy children or kidnap children or do anything of that sort if they weren't completely desperate either. And I believe that the solution to extreme poverty is out there. And if we can bring resources towards it, towards the charities that do the most good, dealing with extreme poverty and dealing with climate change, because climate change hugely impacts extreme poverty, I believe that we can solve the ring. And we can solve so many problems doing this. So this is why Great.com exists. We exist to generate revenues from the gambling industry, from this huge football pitch of money, taking some corner of it and doing massive good. Thank you for being here.